What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your wireless DMX controller with your RockWedge LED lights. Now say you have multiple RockWedge LED lights and you want to have more control over them in a stage production or live venue setup. There is a 6-channel DMX mode and a 10-channel DMX mode that you can use with your RockWedges and a DMX controller. Now using either 6-channel or 10-channel mode completely depends on your specific needs and how much control you want to have over your lights. The 6-channel mode gives you basic control over the 6 different colors available on your lights, while 10-channel mode gives you control over the colors, the different preset modes, and the speed of those modes. The benefit of using a DMX controller with your lights is that you can create a synchronized lighting effect with multiple lights and control them all with the DMX controller. Now to wirelessly sync up your lights to your wireless DMX controller, we're going to start by setting the DMX code on the lights and the controller itself. To do that on our lights, we're going to use the wireless DMX code button and select a color to set the DMX code. So for today we're going to use red. We're also going to do the same thing on our DMX controller. We're also going to want to set the lights to one of the DMX channel modes. For today we'll use the 10-channel mode and use the up and down buttons to set the DMX address. For today we'll use A001. Now you'll know your lights are synced to your controller if the code light on your controller flashes red, while the code light on your lights flash green. And from here we can go through all the different settings on our controller. Next we'll want to go to our controller and activate the first scanner here. So starting with fader 1, this acts as our master fader for the overall brightness of our lights. So we'll go ahead and raise that all the way up. Next to that we have fader 2, which controls the red LEDs. So if I raise that, you'll start to see the red coming through the lights. Fader 3 controls our green LEDs. Next to that we have fader 4 that controls the blue LEDs. Fader 5 controls our white LEDs here. Fader 6 controls our amber LEDs. And fader 7 controls our ultraviolet LEDs. You can also set these faders in different positions for a fully customized color. And since fader 1 acts as our master fader, I can lower that all the way down to have the lights off completely. Now fader 8 controls our strobe mode, and where we set the fader determines the intensity of the strobe. So if I turn that all the way up, get a crazy strobe going on, and if I lower it, not as much. Now fader 9 will control all of the different modes you can use. So when you move this fader up and down, it corresponds with this number here on the LCD display of your DMX controller. And where you have fader 9 set to determines the mode that you're on. So for example, if I raise fader 9 anywhere from 101 to 150, that will set the lights into a color fade mode. You can see a complete cheat sheet of fader 9 here. And fader 10 will control the speed of whichever mode we're in. So if I raise that while we're in the color fade mode, you'll see that the colors start to fade into each other faster, and if I lower it, they fade into each other slower. Now in case you didn't want to have a wireless setup, you can always use DMX cables to connect your lights to the controller. So we're going to start by taking one DMX cable. I'm going to take the male end and plug it into the DMX out of our controller. Then I'm going to connect the other end into the DMX in on our first light. Next we're going to connect the lights to each other by taking another DMX cable. I'm going to plug the male end into the DMX out of our first light, then plug the other end into the DMX in on our next light. And if you wanted to connect even more lights, you're just going to follow the same steps. Now just like in our last setup, we're going to want to make sure to set the lights into the same DMX channel mode and the same DMX address. So for this setup, we're going to stick with the 10-channel mode and set it to the address of A001. So next we'll go back into our controller and press scanner 1. And now if I raise fader 1 and play with the LEDs, you should see them coming through the lights. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your DMX controller to your RockWedge LEDs. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.